Welcome back to my channel. Tonight we have a special guest of ours, Yenika Ellison, who will be talking to us about diagnosing and living with lupus after relocating to Canada from Jamaica. So here we go. Yenika on our channel today as maybe our second guest, because I think I did a previous video where I had another guest before. So this is our second guest on the channel. And welcome to our YouTube family, Yenika.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
I am great. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. So tell us about your first year relocating to Jamaica. So Yenika relocated to Canada from Jamaica in 2000. Now she's going to share her story and hoping that her story will inspire and encourage others who are looking to migrate from Jamaica to Canada, or if you're living with lupus. So I'll hand it over to you, Yenika. Tell us about your first year living in Canada.
Well, my first year, it was exciting because it was something new. It was different from back home. I came to live with my dad. I came with my two sisters, came to live with my dad and my stepmom. I went back to school. I went back a year like behind just to understand and learn more about the schooling here.
Right.
But it was great. I started working after I came here, I think 2 months after I came here. And it was just different because back home I'm from the country, so it was total life-changing experience for me coming here. That was my first year. I went back to school, got a job, and just enjoyed the country.
At what age were you at the time when you moved to Canada?
I turned 9, so I moved here in the summer, and I turned 19 after I came here. Yeah, so I was 19.
Okay. So then you just transitioned. So you had completed high school in Jamaica already. And so now it was just going back to college, university to get the Canadian education, to get into the Canadian education system, right? Right.
Yes.
And what did you study when you went back to school?
So, well, first I went back to high school, as I said, to learn the schooling here. I went back to I think it's grade 11 or 12, the last year of school. Then after that, I went into accounting. So I did I did that program, and then after that program, I went into nutrition.
Nice.
And then now my health coaching. Yeah.
Right. I know. Oh, and to add, Yenika has been a coaching client of mine, which we'll discuss further. We'll dive deeper into that further down the road. But tell us, why did you move to Canada? Did you have family here? How and why did you move to Canada?
Well, my dad sponsored us.
Okay.
So my dad was living here for a long time. So he sponsored myself and my two sisters. So that's the main reason, I should say, we moved here. I know my grandaunt wanted to sponsor us in the States, but he said no. So that's the main reason why I came here. I didn't really have a choice, really. Moving here. Yeah.
Better opportunity. Wow.
And better opportunity. Yeah.
Right. Can you recall what were some of your biggest struggles? Because, when we take up ourselves and move to a new country and restart life all over again, there are so many different struggles that we have to face to start all over. So tell us about some of your biggest struggles.
Well, for one, it was hard because I left my child back home. So that was a struggle in itself. And coming here, living with the only person I knew in my household was my dad, apart from my sisters. So that was a struggle by itself. We were technically on our own. And then, growing up with our mom for so many years, it was so hard to adapt to this new life, that we were given. And it was just rough. We've been through a lot of situations where I feel like we shouldn't have at the time, but it made me stronger. I I've been on my own 2 years after I came to this country. It wasn't easy because I was still
Right.
young. Yeah, I
I
was
can
still
just
young.
imagine.
Yes,
19. Yeah.
19. So when
Mm-hmm.
I went on my own, I was what, 21.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard. It was hard.
I
I
can
don't think I
imagine.
had the support
Mm-hmm.
um that I needed.
Right. And
So
mentally too, I can just imagine mentally leaving your child behind because I think I spoke about that in one of my videos. Should you take your children with you or
Mhm,
should you leave them back home? And a lot of people will comment, I can't do that. I will have to take my child with me for them to go through whatever because being here, the child is back home. That is a mental
mhm,
challenge, a huge
mhm,
mental challenge. So I
mhm,
can just imagine when I came with my daughter at the time and I sent her back home for 3 months until I was able to settle. And that 3 months was the worst 3 months of my life. So 2 years after she came back, she joined you after 2 years.
No, it took me
Wow.
a long time together. It took me 18 years.
Wow.
Um,
And how old
um,
was she at that time when you left her?
no, actually not 18 years. She came here when she was 18 because I
Mm.
left her at 2 weeks old.
What?
Um,
Two
yes,
weeks old. Oh my
yes.
goodness.
So,
Wow.
my I couldn't bring my child here.
Mm-hmm.
When I came, I was told that it wasn't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to wait until so I waited until I get my citizenship,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's when I started applying for her. But then for some reason I was turned down twice.
Wow.
And then my third try, I had to go to another route. It wasn't the regular sponsorship that I went through, and it took
Mm-hmm.
me that time took me 5 years
Wow.
to get her. So she came here when she was 18. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah.
So that bond, that mother-daughter bond was sort of missing,
Yeah.
growing, nurturing your child. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that affect the relationship with you and her?
It's a struggle.
Struggle.
It's
I
it's
can
a
just
struggle.
imagine.
Yeah, the bond is not great. It's a
Mm-hmm.
struggle. It's because
Mm-hmm.
it's so many years. And then no, like for me now, getting her at that age is like I'm learning
Mm-hmm.
how to be a mom. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm doing it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't know if I show love enough. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I can just imagine that. And people want to understand that just the part of it of detaching, leaving your family, leaving your mom, especially
Mm-hmm,
for you. I think that is your biggest struggle. Leaving your
mm-hmm,
child behind,
mm-hmm,
leaving family, your mom, you grew up with
mm-hmm,
your mom, leaving friends and moving here with a lack of support, having to find friends again,
mm-hmm.
having to adjust to the cultures of Canada, the norms of Canada, trying to figure your way out, taking the bus, and all that. It's not easy. It is not easy. So I must congratulate you for that big, bold move. And yet you're still thriving. You are still thriving. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, which takes us now to your diagnosis of lupus. Now, tell us
Mm.
about that part.
So I was diagnosed in 2012. I had all the symptoms, but I didn't know the symptom that made me went to my doctor was rashes on my skin. Like
Mm-hmm,
they were just coming, but they weren't really itching at first,
mm-hmm,
but they were just coming nonstop. And then when I went to my doctor, he gave me some ointments. That didn't work, went back, and then he gave me some pills. Took the pills, but as soon as they were finished, there comes the rash again. Then they started itching, and they were mostly behind my right ear.
mm-hmm,
Then it spread to my chest area, and then he took a while to refer me to a specialist. I had to be persistent, like
mm-hmm,
because he wouldn't budge, and I was so it took so that was in 2011 when I
mm-hmm.
first went to him regarding this.
The first symptoms started.
Yes, it was 2011. I think it was in the springtime, and then it was in I got my appointment with the specialist in the fall of
Mm-hmm.
2012.
Okay.
And yes, so I went, did my first when I went, he scraped my chest and
Mm-hmm.
it came back inconclusive. Then I went back again, and then I did a skin biopsy, and then I found that it was lupus.
It was lupus. Wow.
Yeah.
And how did you feel when you were diagnosed, hearing this news? Did you even know what was lupus?
No, I've never heard it before. And when he told me, like when someone says something to you, but it takes a while to reach you.
To register.
So it took me like 5 minutes when he said it, like after that 5 minutes, I'm like, did you say I have lupus? And then he said it. Then he started explaining what it was. And Yasheika, I'm telling you, not a word of a lie, I feel like I went into immediate depression.
Wow.
And it lasted for months. I just couldn't accept the reality of the unknown because I didn't know what it was. And when you're diagnosed, you first went into all the negative,
what if, all the what ifs, the fears, which is normal.
Yes, and why me and all the pity party. Yeah, it really messed me up. Like it messed with my mental health, my confidence, my self-esteem. It was a lot. It was a lot, yeah.
And where were you at that stage in your life? Did you meet your husband already? Were you married? Were you working?
Yeah.
No?
I was working. The one thing with me, I'm always working. Like I'm always working ever since I came. Yes. So I was working, and that's when I was doing my accounting program. And I took a year off because I couldn't focus. I was mentally dead. So I took a year off, but then I went back, I finished, and then after I went into nutrition.
So what was your support system throughout that very tough time in your life, that very mentally challenging time in your life? How did you cope?
Cope at first it wasn't easy. I had my sisters, I had my sisters, but I isolated myself a lot from a lot of people. I would just go to work, come home, and just lock up in my room. I was just not mentally there. I was so depressed. Yeah, I was so depressed because I thought I was gonna die from this disease.
Wow.
Yeah, because I didn't understand. And then after I got diagnosed, then my mom told me that I had a cousin by my dad's side who died from it.
So that's even worse. So you're like, okay, Lord, we did know.
We did know. Yeah, it was tough, but then
that's scary.
Yeah, it was tough. But then after the pity party and I had to accept.
How did you pick yourself, right? So how, because now that's since 2012, right? So that's like 11 years now. Still thriving, still going. So what happened between 2012 and 2023, that 10-year gap, how things progressed and how things started changing for you?
Well, first I was on the pills and the needles. I would get like 24 needles per visit. And
24 needles per visit?
24 needles per visit. Because
at one go. Yes, I'm a nurse, guys, but my area of expertise is mental health.
Yes. So
that was all the physical stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I get like all the rashes on my skin, like I will get needles instead of them. Because I have the discoid cutaneous lupus, that's the skin lupus. And then so I was on the pills and the needles. And then after I finished my accounting program, I went into nutrition initially because I wanted to learn how to manage my disease without medication.
Right.
Yeah, I said no. I mean, my mom was against it because, back home parents.
Jamaican parents.
Yes. So I said, no, I'm gonna take a chance. I was nervous. But I said, I don't wanna. I hate taking pills. So I went back to school, learned all I can about nutrition, and I came off the pills and needles. I wanna say 8.5 years. I haven't been on any. I'm just using nutrition and lifestyle, but
you have been managing your lupus by yourself, right? Basically, transitioning from accounting to dietitian, going into nutrition field, just so you could manage this health condition, which you did successfully because now you're self-managing.
Yeah, it's it wasn't easy because I had to learn all
Trials
the
and
time.
errors.
Yes, and I'm still learning, but I made my mission to learn all I can about this disease. What foods to eat, because I remembered I had this bad mouth ulcers and I didn't know what the reason was for it. And I remember I called telehealth because I couldn't eat. And when I told her, you know, that I have lupus and stuff like that, then she said it's a lupus flare. So my entire inner lip was like, yeah, sore. So that I had to learn what food to eat, what food not to eat. You know, sunlight is also a trigger. Anywhere that's like dusty, like anything with dirty stuff or whatever. And then also stress. Like stress loves lupus. Like it loves it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had to learn to stress less. I used to stress a lot, and now sometimes people may say that I don't stress over certain things, but for my
mental health
and my mental health, I have to stress less about it. But my biggest struggle right now is sleep. I don't sleep. I get like maybe
and
3
is
hours
that
sleep.
because of the lupus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm struggling, like sleep and fatigue. Like fatigue for me is an everyday thing. And it's not the regular fatigue that you know, like you just normal have, is different for us, right? I had brain fog, like I was struggling with brain fog in the spring to summer. That's also a symptom, but it's also because I am not sleeping well.
Right, because the brain is not resting.
Yes, yes. But for the most part, to be honest, I'm doing much better.
I can see that.
Yes, I'm doing much better. My confidence is back up. My self-esteem is back up. It's a challenge, but if you know how to manage it, you know, it can be
it is possible. It is possible. Wow. Wow, this is awesome. Such a powerful story. Such a powerful story. So what would you tell somebody who has just been diagnosed with lupus right now?
Well, first, it's good to learn about it. Like you have to accept it, because for me, it took way too long to accept this reality. And then you won't see changes until you accept, and then you start learning all you can. You know, there's support out there, and because sometimes we isolate ourselves. We don't talk about it.
And that is one of the problems, especially us Black people, Caribbean people. We don't reach out for help. We don't ask for help. We try to keep our mouth locked, our mouth closed, and expecting people to know whatever we're going through in our head and in our, you understand? So there is help out there. Seek and ye shall find. Ask and it shall be given. Same thing when it comes on to mental health. You know, I work in the mental health field going on 19 years, and that is one of the biggest things when it comes on to the Black culture, not accepting and not reaching out. We're still holding on to the stigma. But there's help, there is support. If you talk about it, if you reach out, people will support you. So that's one of the most important thing, is to reach out and asking for help. So I do agree with that.
Yes. Also, you know, it's also good to educate others around you so they know how to support you.
Right.
Also at your job, you know, you don't have to tell them everything about it, but at least let your employer know, so they know how to support you. You know, because there are days when you're not gonna be
you're 100
at your best, yes, because of all their mental exhaustion and stuff like that. So just learn all you can, educate your circle, and reach out for help. I mean, why suffer in silence? There is online community, there's in person,
with technology right now going on.
Yeah. So just reach out and share, you know, just help share it, because
which brings us to our next question. So tell us why you decided now to start coaching, and tell us your journey of starting to coaching, starting to mentoring other women going through this lupus diagnosis like yourself?
Well, for me, I didn't have the support, or I didn't look for support, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard for me. And if I had that support earlier on,
Mm-hmm.
I think I would accept it more and be further along, like,
Mm-hmm.
on my journey.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to help women, especially when you're newly diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just how to manage it, just all the things that you need, because this is something new and it's
Mm-hmm.
not easy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the support, um, it can be better. It's not a lonely road. It may seem like it, but I
Mm-hmm.
just want to help women um on their journey so they can still live a normal life.
Right, right.
To the
With a
yeah,
holistic approach, because to
with a
me, it's
holistic
a
approach.
holistic approach. So
Yes,
you need the nutrition, you need the mental aspect, you need support, you need friends.
yes,
And so it's a holistic approach
yes,
to
yes, yes,
this condition, right? And that's what you offer within your program, right?
yes, yes.
Okay, so what do
Because
you have available now for the people? I know you have a free guide, so tell us about that.
yes, so I created this free guide with just what it's a mini guide of what lupus is, what foods to eat, foods to avoid, the symptoms to look out for,
Okay.
and just how to live with it, like,
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I also have videos on my YouTube channel, which
Okay. So
it's
check out
educational.
Yenika. Yenika also have her YouTube channel. So I'll put the link below. And
Yes.
for that book, for that free guide, you can go and learn more about lupus. If you're newly diagnosed, if you're someone
Mhm.
who's struggling with lupus, in Yenika's position, in her shoe that she was in 12 years ago, then definitely you will need the support. You will need this guide and all the information that she has to offer you, being experience from her personal experiences, from her journey, just to share and to help others.
Hmm.
And as I said, Yenika was a past client of mine, coaching client. So let's get into that a little bit, just to tell them how being a client of mine, how did that help you along the journey?
Well, it helped a lot because first you know, you helped me with my mindset.
Right.
Yes, I feel like I was in a fixed mindset, like I know what I want to do. It's just I had that blockage. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was just stuck. But the good thing about Yasheika is, like, first, before we get into anything, the mindset piece, which is
Right.
what I really needed. I
Mm-hmm.
just and also getting clear on what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that was great. I've learned so much. I mean, I know I haven't taken 100% action, but it really it really helped me with the clarity and just
The
my
confidence,
that
that
mindset
that
piece.
growth and
Yes,
confidence. Because
yes.
at times we come here as immigrants and we come with the mindset that we grew up with from our parents, that
Mhm.
mindset, that limited mindset that you
Mhm.
have to do this, and not the rather than having the growth mindset and the confidence, to go out there and to get what you want to get. We came here to thrive, not to survive. And I always talk about that on this channel, thriving instead of surviving. So rather than staying in the survival mode mindset, being in that box, in that comfort zone of comfort where you're not reaching out to going for your goals, setting your goals and going for better, right? Rather than remaining stuck. So that's what this whole channel is about, empowering other immigrants, encouraging, elevating, and inspiring, sharing stories. So this is our first episode where I'll be taking on other successful immigrants who are now thriving to share their stories to hopefully impact somebody else who was in one of our shoes, further out when we're traveling to Canada, living in Canada, and all that good stuff. So that's our purpose here on this channel, to empower and encourage each other. So as we did mention, we have Yenika's channel. We list it below. Go ahead and grab your free guide and don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe right now. So Yenika, what is the last word of encouragement would you give our viewers today?
Well, when it comes to living in Canada, you know, if you are, well, you have to be strong-minded, to be honest.
Resilience. I talk about that,
yes.
and somebody mentioned one day, why being resilient have to be a badge of honor? But it's not a badge of honor. It's a character that you have to build. Right?
Because this is not for the weak, it will eat you alive. So if you have that, if you are willing, and you have to be willing to, because my situation was hard. You know, I came to this country living with basically strangers. And if I wasn't strong, I mean, I don't know where I would be right now. Because being on my own 2 years after I came to this country, it wasn't easy. You know, and even while I was living at that house, I was basically on my own. You know, so you have to be strong and willing to make sacrifices.
Right.
You know, just it doesn't matter how many times you fail, just keep on going.
Dust yourself off and try again.
Yes, that it doesn't matter how hard it is. Someone out there has it harder than you. So just keep on going. And you know, you have to you know, I was listening to this lady and she said if your blessing, like say your mindset is this small, that's a blessing that you're gonna get. So
exactly.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how hard it seems, if you just keep on pushing, something good will happen because God will not let us suffer, you know. So that's how I see it. And when it comes to if you're living with lupus too, you know, it's just once you accept it and learn all you can and just push through, you know, seek help, you know, it can get better.
It will get better.
It can get better, yeah.
It will get better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a thriving immigrant, another thriving immigrant here tonight, we want to thank you so much for sharing your story. It is a journey indeed. It's a journey and it's your testimony and sharing your testimony. And that's what God wants for us first, to share our story, share our testimony to help others who are in that. You know, it's like Moses going back to the people, going back, helping them and showing them the pathway. And I'm sure that's why you decided to venture into coaching. Help others throughout that journey. Yes. So we want to thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.